The show grew out of a play that Randy and I had done called Appalachian Strings, which was really an overview of the life in the mountains and the culture, the people. And the second act started with a little 10-minute segment about Randy, a 10-minute segment of coal mining. And one day, Randy looked at me and said, this is such interesting stuff. Maybe we should expand this into a show. And by golly, it is very interesting. And we did.
I first met Dan. I needed a fiddle player for the national tour of Quilters, a musical that I was directing. And someone said, well, John Denver's fiddle player lives in Aspen, and I think he's not working right now. So I called Dan out of the blue, and off we went. And on the tour, in fact, he met his wife, his future wife.
Yeah. Most of the music, about 80% of the music, is traditional music, as 90% of the spoken word is actual words spoken by, taken right from the miners themselves and the miners' families, telling their own story. And that was something that was very important to Randy and I, to not presume to speak for someone in a situation that we hadn't actually experienced ourselves. And the music comes from very early on, turn of the century into the 1900s, and goes through the 30s, the big union movement, and then after that time, there is some more contemporary writers, but all the music is from people who lived in that area and are writing about what went on in their life.
Well, I think there's this great river of the blues music, and there's a lot of tributaries, and this is one that goes into the hills and the mountains, just like Janis Joplin is one, and Hank Williams is one down in Nashville. I'm always interested in all different types of music, and this is important to me because my dad came from West Virginia, and his family were coal miners, and that's a side of my life. Although I grew up in Northern California, my dad often listened to music like this, roots music or Hank Williams music, alongside of the rock and roll we listened to as kids. So this was another thing running through my life as well. Well, I think when you think of coal miners, you automatically think of, especially unfortunately with some recent events in the news, you think of it with great sadness. But the music of the mines, just like the blues, it's so much of it is uplifting and powerful and funny, and there's a great courage in the people. This is about coal mining, but more importantly, I think it's about just the human spirit.
I would have to echo that. It's really a story about humans and how humans deal with adversity in their lives, and how time and time again you see them rise, the human spirit rise above the situation and express itself joyfully. I think it's really a human story set in a coal mine. We have a John Denver Christmas holiday show, that is both holiday music and John's music. It's called Back Home Again, and all the songs that we dug up for that from John's repertoire are like Back Home Again, things that talk about family and home. And it's a lovely little evening, and we're talking about doing something on moonshining too, but that's well, we're here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm excited to see this show in this locale, where outlying districts from here are the places so often talked about in the show itself, and I just think that's going to be an interesting evening.